important that you still keep an eye on them and you still trust but verify. Trust that they're telling you the truth, but check to make sure that they really are. It is their job at that point in their life to kind of push the envelope and test the waters and test their boundaries and see how far they can get. And it's our job to monitor that, set boundaries, and give loving but strong consequences, because they will continue to push if you don't. Kids make mistakes. It's part of growing up. It's important that they make them in a safe environment, and that, quite frankly, they're allowed to make mistakes, because they won't learn that it's the wrong thing to do if somebody cleans it up for them all the time. So mistakes are kind of like growing pains, and they're lessons, and it's really best that they learn them in a safe environment and when they're young and the fall isn't too far, because the older they get, the harder it is to pick themselves up and go forward. So we're here to work with you, and hopefully have a great year next year. But keep us in the loop. If things are going on at home, let us know. It is the most helpful thing that we can have, is an open communication between home and school. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Karen Christensen. I'll be talking about grades and HomeLink. So grades in 6th grade start to be percentage based, the traditional 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, that kind of thing. The 6th grade does, in general, have the same grading policy, so that the kids get a consistent message of what it's going to be. If your child earns a grade that's less than a C, it's really indicative of a lack of effort on your child's part, either not turning in homework or turning it in incomplete, not being prepared for tests. It's when you need to be communicating with the school, and we'll be communicating with you about what we can do to support your child, because with just effort, they should be earning C's. It's set up to reward doing the work, and not necessarily doing the work correctly, but just doing it. So we shouldn't be seeing D's or F's for somebody who's really putting in effort. And we're encouraging the kids to communicate with the teachers and ask questions when they have them. I'm sure it's hard in elementary school too, but in 6th grade for sure, they don't want to be giving up their free time to communicate with the teachers, and it's a skill that they need to learn. You can check on the grades that your kids have through something called HomeLink. And let me so for teachers, we call it Aries. So we put our grades into Aries, and then you see those grades on HomeLink. So Aries and HomeLink to you are basically the same thing. You can look at grades. So somebody might say, I put the grades into Aries, but that would mean that you can go look at it. And yours is called HomeLink. And HomeLink can send out mass emails to parents. And I think it comes up in the subject as HomeLink. So that would be a communication from the school. So we try to update it at least every 2 weeks. When we do the grades, it's not for checking what an assignment was that day. It's for things that have already happened. So the planner that was talked about, their own personal schedule book, that's where they would write down their daily assignments. And then HomeLink would show you what they've already been assigned. And then it's graded. So some things go in that haven't been graded yet, and it'll tell you if it's completed, graded, or not completed. The grading is completed, or the grading is not completed. When you do the emergency card for the school, that's done through HomeLink. So when you go in, you're going to have a login and a password. You're going to want to write those down somewhere so you can remember them, because the school can, I believe, provide you with the login, but I know for sure does not have your password, because that's a private thing. You have to know your password. It can be reset, but it's not an easy process. It would be much better if you just remembered how you got in to do the emergency card, because how you do that, that's how you get in and check the grades. And you should check the grades every week or so and really kind of keep on top of, are they missing assignments? Are they not doing, are they not turning in their homework? Are they not doing well on assessments? You can really see, where the problem is if there's a problem. We do progress reports. So 5 weeks into a quarter, your child will get a progress report. They sign for it and they bring it home. And then at the end of the quarter, they'll sign for a report card and bring it home. At the semester, it gets mailed home. And of course, at the end of the year, it gets mailed home because they're no longer at school to receive it. So every quarter has a progress report about halfway through, and then a quarter grade at the end. So every 5 weeks, you should be getting something from the school telling you how your child is doing. And like Ms. Roberts-Farley said, communication with the school and the teachers is really important. Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Kale Hernandez, and I'm just basically going to go over with you some of the supplies that we hope that your students will be bringing to school with them. I know we had a PTSA meeting at the end of the school year, and a lot of parents were really concerned about what 6th grade supplies look like. Mrs. Medina is going to try to share the screen. My screen is not working to share. And Mr. Campo Piano will also put a link in either this meeting or on the Pine Hollow website where you can actually access the supply list. So basically, the supply list is similar to what we have passed out in the past. The only new thing about it, it's getting there, just a sec, is that per CDC guidelines, Mrs. Medina, if you don't mind scrolling to the top, students are not going to be allowed to share their materials with other students. So we are hoping that students will have their own supplies in their backpack and being able to use those supplies at home and at school. So the list, if you look at the list, if you can scroll down just a little bit, Mrs. Medina, it goes over just standard school supplies, like having paper, pencils. I will hold up in the middle. I don't know if you guys can see me, but it says on there for 4 salt and pepper composition books. And a composition book is just the little book that you buy like at Staples. During the summer, they sell these for 50 cents each. It's a really good deal because they go back up to like $2.50 or $2.99 per book. And that is something that we do plan on using this year. We like to have interactive notebooks in our classrooms. So we usually have one for reading, one for English, and one for science. And that is just something that will be really beneficial and helpful to your child. We also put on there that they could have a 1-inch binder. I do want to share that most students in 6th grade really struggle organizing their binder. They rarely ever put handouts into their binder. They just kind of shove them in their backpack. So they still like to buy them at back to school. So we do see a lot of binders. But one of the things that I would recommend over that is maybe having folders, a colored folder for each class, or maybe some kind of portfolio system. Binders really don't work well, but I do know that almost every single child will come to school with a binder. So just letting you know that that is another area where kids really struggle with organization, and rarely does anything end up inside that binder. So Mrs. Medina is scrolling down, and you can just see a list of things that we really can use in the classroom. We're hoping to be in the classroom where we can do a lot of the projects that we are comfortable and enjoy doing with our students. And so like scissors and glue sticks are really helpful for the students to have. We did add some needed things this year, like pencils and white paper we're always in need of, but we also added hand sanitizer, hand soap, Kleenex, and Clorox wipes. We do want you to know that your child will not be left out of any project if they came to school and didn't have their own colored pencils. But when we give them to them, we would have to either take them back and clean them, or we would actually just end up giving them to them because we really aren't going to be able to share materials with other students. So we just kind of wanted to emphasize that. The other thing, due to the nature of what school might look like, we do a lot of reading in English and reading. And we chose 5 books that we want to start the school year off with. We're looking at these books to carry us through the first semester of school. And this past quarter, when we were doing distance learning, we actually taught Al Capone Does My Shirts and the book Pax. And we were able to be pretty successful with that during distance learning. We provided audible.com so the students could actually listen to the story. And we also had, for Al Capone, we had a PDF that we were able to upload for the students. And then for PAX, we asked parents if they could purchase the book. And we were really happy and surprised to see how many parents actually went out and purchased the books for their students. And it really helps them when they're listening to the story to be able to have a copy in front of them. It also really supports the students when they're learning how to give back, you know, text evidence and to really analyze the story, and having a copy of the book made it really helpful for them. So again, these are not required. We just know that it makes it a lot easier for the child if they have their own copy. We honestly don't have enough books to put in the hands of every student if they're not sharing. So just so you know, in a regular reading classroom, we would have our books stacked in the middle of our tables, and we would be sharing them with at least 2 classes. And that's not going to be allowed this year. And so that's why we're putting out our reading list and hoping that some of you will be able to purchase these books for your students. And I think that's it. And then holding this up, I just wanted to show you, this is the composition book that I'm talking about. They come in all different kinds of colors. And like I said, I mean, as a teacher, I think anybody, you can buy 30 at a time. I just load up all summer long, so I have a stack of them for students who don't have a book. But it's a great deal during the summer, and they definitely will be using them. So that's kind of it on the supplies. We're really hoping that your students will be in our classrooms. We're hoping that whatever model will have like a hybrid, so we can at least be with them and get to know them in person as well as maybe distancing. So, but that's it. And then Mr. Campopiano will be loading the link, and it will be shared with everybody after the meeting. So, okay, so that's it for me.
Thanks, Kelly. I just threw it over in the chat as well. There's a link to that. And then I will also email it out, post it on our website in the coming days, weeks.
All right, I'm Liat Medina, and I'm going to focus today on social media, being digitally responsible. But I'm also going to mention about cell phones. Just our cell phone policy is that phones are off, powered off, not on silent, but powered off, bell to bell, and away in their backpacks.
Hey, Liat.
Hopefully, internet connection is not so good, but
Liat.
I'm going to focus on social media because it is the source, and sometimes it is the source of a lot of conflict.
All right, Liat. We can't hear you. We're going to go to the next person, and then if you could try logging off and coming back.
All right.
Go ahead, Tara.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll let Liat try to get back on. Hello, everybody. I'm Tara Mann. I'm part of the 6th grade team. Nice to see all of you guys here today. My part today is really just to discuss what you guys could be doing with your students, or what they could be doing this summer to kind of help themselves prepare for 6th grade. I really just have kind of my top 4. And a lot of them they may already be familiar with, which is one of them being iReady. iReady we use in 6th grade, in middle school in general, but iReady is for math and reading. And they should already be able to use their iReady from 5th grade and keep practicing until they get to our 6th grade classes. So you guys might have gotten information on where they are with iReady, but no matter where they are, they can always improve. And it does show that practice on iReady can help improve test scores as well. So it picks up right where they are at math and reading. So it's not too far above or below their level. It's right where they should be. So it's a great thing to have and practice. The next couple things are writing and reading. So they will be reading and writing a lot in 6th grade. So as much as we want to give them a break this summer, they've been working hard. We just hope that they keep writing and reading to keep well practiced for that. You know, we don't have a reading list, but if you guys needed some, we could come up with some for you. just whatever they are interested in reading. We hope that they keep reading this summer. Write. If they want to journal what they're doing this summer, write their grandparents, write their thank you cards, just to keep writing. And they will all be getting a planner this August. And that's going to be where they're going to be writing in all of their assignments, Monday through Friday. So if they want to get a head start on something like that and have a calendar to write down some of their plans this summer, that'd be great. It just kind of gets them acclimated to what they might be doing in 6th grade. And finally, typing club. A lot of the kids had typing club already in elementary school. You can ask if they have. If not, you could check through Clever. That's where ours usually comes from, but there's a lot of typing clubs out there that are free. And if they sign up, they can get a little extra practice typing, because whatever model that we end up going with for the new school year is going to include a little bit of typing, obviously from the computers. And if they have some extra practice with that, they won't get so frustrated with writing their papers. So that's all I have. Thank you all for coming. And I'm hoping that Miss Medina is back on.
Can't hear me. I think my connection. Can you hear me?
No.
No.
All right. So we're gonna fill in for you a little bit, Liat. She had a great presentation on social media and cell phones. So I'm gonna let our staff kind of fill in. I'll give you the crux of it, but we have a strict cell phone policy here on campus. Our policy is that phones have to be off and away. Oh, cool. Your phones have to be off and away here on campus. And we do allow students to use them with teacher permission, but we have very clear guidelines that they need to be off and away. We also talk to kids a lot about social media, digital communication, digital citizenship, and how to use email and work online appropriately. We know, and I'll speak as an administrator here and let Melissa speak, and then Eileen and the speakers can go through this, but what we know as administrators is that we have a ton of issues, social issues, whether it's drama or whether it's higher levels of bullying or harassment that arise because of social media. Snapchat and Instagram, YouTube and text threads lead to a ton of problems at middle schools all across America, and Pine Hollow is not immune to that. And what we really encourage you to do is think through how, and when, and where your kids are accessing these sites. We see problem after problem after problem. So this presentation goes through a little bit of that. Eileen, I'll let you hop in. Melissa, if you want to hop in, or any other teachers want to hop in.
Okay. So what we have here is a list of the most common forms of social media that students are using right now, and you'll notice that the ages that it's supposed to be for. So we just want you to be aware of what your kids are doing if they are using social media. So if you want to go to the next screen, I don't have control. There's a lot of positives with social media. You can use it to communicate. I mean, we've all found out now we can use it to communicate with family. We can use it to communicate with friends, stay connected. You can get involved with organizations. It can enhance your creativity. You can communicate with classmates. But when students are this young, there's also some risks that are involved. Despite the positive aspects, there are risks associated because adolescent children often aren't really good at making responsible choices, and they don't see the risks ahead of time. It actually replaces actual socialization, and they get a skewed vision of what people's lives are because people tend to only put out the good stuff on social media. It does hold their attention because it's quick. It encourages passive browsing and scrolling, and it kind of sucks you in. And it can lead to feelings of inadequacy and depression and feeling less satisfied with your own life because you're seeing a really good side of other people's lives. And then there's the sharing of private information sometimes, and cyberbullying, which is always a problem. The things to talk to your children about when it comes to social media is just be nice. Don't say anything you wouldn't say to somebody's face. If you would not say it to them, or you don't want your grandparents or your coaches or your teachers or your parents to know what you've said, then you really shouldn't be saying it on social media. And then the responsibility aspect is think twice, maybe 3 times before you post it. Once it's posted, it's permanent and it doesn't go away, and people can always find it. Don't friend strangers, and no one has the right to share other people's information, their address, their phone number without your permission, or their picture without your permission. So here are some statistics about social media. I'll let you look through it, but the bottom line is especially in girls, it leads to often higher depression and higher unhappiness. And when more than half of all mental illness worldwide starts at age 14, it's really not a good time to be experiencing that. So, did I skip anything? Oh, we did skip one. So what can you do as parents? Set clear expectations. You can make a contract with your children. Know who your child is talking to. Make sure they know who they're talking to. Balance their digital communication with social interactions with real ones and digital ones. Make sure they're still seeing people. And do your homework before they start using an app. Find out what it really is and maybe try it yourself so that you know. Discourage the posting of themselves or any real information about them because other people can find it. Monitor their accounts and monitor their texting. Make sure that you keep their devices in common areas of the house. And at night when they go to bed, their devices should be out of their room. They should be probably in your room because sometimes, you know, the activity still goes on, so you'll know what's going on with their devices. And make sure that you know their passwords so that you're able to check if it comes to that. Encourage meaningful interactions. Talk to your kids about it. Make sure that the sites that they use are appropriate sites and they've been vetted and that they are monitored. And I think that's it. Use privacy settings. Make sure that it is very private. And here are some helpful articles. And I'm sorry, Liat did a much better job than I did, but we're trying. And Mr. Campopiano is going to be posting this so you can check into these articles if it is something that you're interested in. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I shared a link to it over in the chat. Thank you. Sorry, Liat, that you're not coming through. I will reiterate that we see problem after problem. Kids also can delete an app from their phone. You go check their phone, you don't even know they have the app, and then they re-upload the app at night. use the app, delete the app, upload the app, delete the app. So they also, a lot of kids are using multiple accounts for different things. They give you the password to their main account, but then they have a hidden account. Obviously, this is not all kids, and obviously, you know, most of you probably have heard these things and these warnings, but we want to stress this because we see it time after time. So thanks for bearing with us. And I do see a email or a chat to me personally was, what about email accounts? All kids will receive a school district email account that is monitored by the school in the district. And that they'll get that as they come in this year. Okay, so 6th grade team, thank you so much. Appreciate that. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move now to our counselors. We have 2 great counselors at Pine Hollow, and they provide academic support and social emotional support. So academic support could be everything from organization to helping students who are struggling in math to time management or scheduling. And then social emotional help could be, you know, if a kid's feeling stressed or anxious or depressed or whatever. So our counselors are awesome, and they really provide a lot of services. Even during a distance learning format, they were calling, texting, and Zooming with kids, even when school was closed. So they're a great resource and they're great people. I'm going to start with Mr. Perryman. Ed, if you can unmute and go ahead.
All right, welcome parents and students. My name is Ed Perryman. I am the school counselor at Pine Hollow Middle School. Like Mr. Campopiano mentioned, you know, we encourage all students to reach their full potential. We empower them to become more aware about their academic growth, as well as promoting growth both emotionally and physically. With the organization piece, it's always helpful for students that are coming in from 5th grade to recognize that they have multiple teachers now, and transitioning from just one teacher to 5 different teachers. You know, we assist with organization. We help them gather their backpacks together if they need it. We support that by teaching students self-advocacy and teaching them how to incorporate those life skills in middle school so that they can be ready for high school. As a school counselor, I also coordinate the WEB program. WEB is a student-led program ran by upperclassmen, or upperclassmen or women. It's for 7th and 8th graders to become mentors, as well as role models for 6th graders. And it's a way to help them feel comfortable with the transition into middle school. It's a nationally recognized program throughout the U.S. and Canada. It transitions into high school where students become Link Crew members. If you've ever heard of Link Crew, it's derived from the WEB program and the Boomerang Project. These students, they are here to just, you know, to make students feel welcome and comfortable. And although we don't know what fall may look like, we're still planning to have a tour with the 6th graders, if applicable by county guidelines. Me, as well as the leaders, are, you know, planning to make phone calls to the students to welcome them into our school. And you know, pretty much as mentioned by Mr. Campopiano, more updates will come as we know how schools will open. But if your students or yourselves, you know, are feeling anxious about entering school, not sure about how to come into school and come into, you know, transition to the 6th grade, feel free to reach out to me, or, you know, I'll be available. My contact information is on the school's website. I have my Google Voice number on there. I have my email address, and I'm free to answer questions throughout the summer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ed. And, you know, I'm so proud of the work Ed's done with WEB. The WEB program is just this fabulous nationwide program that helps kids transition and feel comfortable. And it's just critical to the success of our school, but all 6th graders, you know, who are a part of it. And it's really cool to see the 7th and 8th graders be mentors to the 6th graders. And it's great when we see sixth graders saying they want to someday be a mentor and a web leader. So it's just a great program, and another way that we try to engage the sixth graders in a positive way to our community, make them feel comfortable, make them feel socialized, make them have a friend, help them have a friend in the upper classes, and just feel a part of our community. So thanks, Ed. Lori Nardone is our other counselor who runs our TUPE program, which is our tobacco education program. She'll talk about that and a few other things. So go ahead, Lori.
Hi, thank you. So I want to just kind of continue on with what Ed was saying is no matter how we come back, I really would like you guys to think about structure for your students. Our biggest struggle, I think, as a counselor this year was the fact that most of the kids were staying up really, really late. And when I would try and reach out to them, normally the parents will pass on the phone, their student's cell phone number, which allowed me to call them and wake them up for Zooms and other important activities. But, you know, when I would call, I wouldn't start my day most of the time with the kids until afternoon. And what I was finding is they were so busy playing games and doing other things that not much work was really getting done. And the only person that's going to be hurt here is your student is missing out on this amazing education and the huge effort that our teachers really want. But that structure needs to be super important. They need to have a bedtime, and they need to be working, because we need to all be in this together. But it's become very evident through this that there's some really neat ways about how education is actually going to be changing to be able to meet your child's needs and teach kids in different ways. We're looking forward to them coming back next year and getting to meet them. So we're very exciting and hoping that will all be part of this piece. But you know, we want to make sure that we're part of the package. We've had to help them really become more independent learners. And our sixth graders really struggle because they're very, very young and they're not used to having these other teachers. So logging in and staying on top of their work and looking what's happening in kind of when they should be going to class is really super important, and not putting it off to do something else. It's also super, the more we're involved, the more you're able to do what you guys need to do. And that's really what our goal is to help them become that independent learner, help them become successful young adults, hopefully at some point here, and just be part of building those, you know, basic foundational skills. A lot of what we do is directly related to organization, knowing what they have to do, doing it in a timely manner, getting it done, and then getting on to having some fun. We have lots of great activities that we are involved in, like basketball at lunch, very kind of fun things that your kids will get to enjoy. The other thing that I wanted to talk about real quick was TUPE. TUPE stands for Tobacco Use Prevention and Education. So we have a group of 10 students that are trained, and they go to trainings, and we get to go to UC Berkeley and learn more about it. And basically during this time, what we've been really noticing is the huge amount of on the television that Puff has been putting out the vaping directly targeted towards your children. And so I want you guys to be really aware that they're making it look really attractive. And so this education, no matter how we come back, is going to be super important. And our peer educators, once they are trained, I do have some returning ones, will be also educating and putting peer pressure not to do. So they will be reaching out. We'll be talking. We do classroom presentations. We have a number of different activities like Red Ribbon Week, Kick Butts, and a number of other ones to help fill your children's time. Okay? Thank you. Look forward to meeting you guys.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Ed. I'm so proud of our TUPE and web programs and all that our counselors offer. I put some links over in the chat if you have a chance, check those out. And then the last area that we're going to hit up here is our Parent Teacher Student Association, our PTSA. And I want to start off by telling you that 2 years ago when I took over at Pine Hollow, our discretionary budget, the budget that we have as a staff to spend how we want, was about $140,000 for the year, and that was 18-19 school year. The 19-20 school year, this year, that budget was reduced from 140 to about 105. The projected budget, discretionary budget for our site for next year is $70,000. So in 2 years, our budget has decreased by about 50%. And every site in our district's budget has decreased similar amounts. Our district is undergoing massive cuts across the board. And then COVID has created the economic downturn, which leads to less monies coming into districts, meaning less monies for schools. So what this has forced us to really do is tighten things up and look at exactly how we're spending every dollar and really form connections with parents in the community to fill the gap and close the gap. The budget gap is very real at Pine Hollow, and it's something that we need your help on. So, you know, I have, and our teachers have, huge goals for our kids, and those are things, and those are experiences, those are opportunities. So, you know, whether that's renovating our library to get it more modern and comfortable, whether that's improving our facility with a electronic marquee or better landscaping, whether that's opportunities like field trips or activities like clubs or sports, all those things cost a significant amount of money. And when our budget shrinks, those things become harder. Technology is a critical thing we need to focus on at Pine Hollow, more Chromebooks and our teacher laptops. And you know, we need funding for those. So although it may feel kind of salesy that we're hitting you up, the reality is we want to do these great things, keep making progress for Pine Hollow. We're going to need your support. We just are. We're going to need families to step up how they can, when they can, financially or through volunteering their time or their expertise or their services. We're going to be releasing a Google survey to all of our families asking, hey, how can you help? Can you give an hour a year or an hour a month or an hour a week? Can you donate? What can you do? And sharing exactly what we need. Because the reality is it's going to take everybody to continue us moving forward. We have all these great plans and visions and ideas to support your kids, but the simple fact is there's not always that cash to do it. A small example, and then I'll turn it over to our team, is the Homework Club. Our Homework Club is a program after school where we provide teachers to meet with students, tutor them, and provide a safe spot for them to do homework after school every day. Well, that's an awesome program for a ton of kids where they can get tutored in small group instruction after school, but it costs money to pay those teachers to do that. Well, when our budget shrinks, the number of days that we can offer that shrinks, or the number of teachers that can do that shrinks, and then it doesn't become as effective. So we have this goal to have you know, an amazing homework club, an amazing field trip experience, Chromebooks for every kid, sports and clubs and all these things, and we really need your help. So I'm going to turn it over to Nicole Simpson, our new PTSA president, and Jerry Bluth, who is her teammate in this. And Nicole's going to talk a little bit about the PTSA and how we're going to move forward even during this time. So Nicole, take it away.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you. Yeah, my name is Nicole. My son just finished 6th grade at Pine Hollow, and I'm also on the PTSA. And like I told the last group, I wasn't planning on joining the PTSA at Pine Hollow. But then Mr. Campo Piano came and he spoke to 5th grade parents at AIRS and talked about everything that he wants to do for the students and the staff and the school. So, you know, obviously I joined the PTSA. You know, I'm glad that I did though, because it gave me the opportunity to see what a great school Pine Hollow really is. There's really a strong sense of community that exists among the teachers and the staff and the families and the students. You know, most recently they did a drive-through promotion for the 8th graders, and almost every staff member was there, and they did that on their own time to come and support the school and the students. As a PTSA, Mr. Campo Piano is, you know, always challenging us to come up with new and unique ways to enhance the school and make it better and make it a better experience for the students. So last year, we actually quadrupled the fundraising dollars that the PTSA brought in. We were hoping this year to do things like renovate the library and make it more modern, create a lounge space for students to hang out, like you said, get a marquee, continue to help purchase Chromebooks, make the campus look nicer so it's a better place for the kids to come to school. What we're going to do over the summer as a PTSA is brainstorm ways to continue to support the school and the students regardless of how school looks in the fall. So what we, even though we don't know, what we do know is that we will need a lot of parent and family support going into this year, probably maybe even more now than we have in the past. So we've been working over the last couple months to find ways that every family can get involved. So a few things that you can do now. One of them is to go on Facebook and look up Pine Hollow PTSA and follow us, because that's a great way to learn about what's going on with this, not only the PTSA, but the school. We also would love it if everybody would go to the pinehollowptsa.com website and familiarize yourself with our goals for this year, events that we're hoping to plan, how you can help. And then we created a volunteer form that Mr. Campo Piano is going to email out to everybody. So if you can look that over and turn it in ASAP, there is opportunities for everybody, even if you can only do 1 hour per year. But the sooner we get that back, the sooner we'll know how much help we have, and that will help us better plan for the fall. And then lastly, if everybody can just share their ideas and suggestions of what they have for the school, what they'd like to see us do, you can comment on Facebook, or you can also email phmustangs@gmail.com. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. And I put those links over in the chat as well. And I wholeheartly believe that we need parent involvement. I'm extremely, big believer in this community effort. We have a very robust site council, our PTSA meetings, our staff is available. We make every effort to communicate openly, often, transparent. We want you involved. I know you were super involved in elementary school, and we don't want you to stop. We do not want parents to stop. There's this idea that now they're in middle school and they're more independent, they're older, they don't want us there, we're going to back up. Yes, you can do that so that they think you can do that. But we need you at the meetings or at the events or checking out the PTSA Facebook page, or, however it works for you, we need it. We can't, what happens a lot in middle school is that the parents volunteer and support in elementary, they back off in middle, and then in high school they re-engage because it's the last 4 years. We need you now. We need you because we have so much great things we want to do. So I'm so thankful for Nicole and Jerry and our PTSA board and everything they've done. They raised so much more money these last 2 years and have enabled us to do all this cool stuff and help support our students and our staff. And I'm just so thankful for that. So Thank you guys, and please go join the Facebook page, check out their website. I'll be sending out that Google form soon with ways to help. All right, so it's 5:11, and so we have about 15 minutes for questions. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, but also this is a chance for an open Q&A. If you need to jump off and go do dinner, I get that too. But this is a chance to raise your hand, grab my attention, or unmute yourself and just blurt out. If you have a question, if you feel more comfortable putting it in the chat, we can do it that way too. So what questions do you have for me or our team here today? All right, Ms. Morales?
Yeah, I came in the meeting a little late, so I don't know if you talk already about the electives. I'm sorry, how those work, or how the kids are gonna choose those.
Yeah, I'll let Mrs. Brennan chime in, but we go to all elementary schools and we give presentations to all the incoming kids about how to sign up for classes at 6th grade. But if any of your kids didn't complete that or didn't experience that or whatever, you know, the first step is to email Mrs. Brennan, and then she can kind of help you register for the classes that you want to take care of. So I'm going to let Mrs. Brennan talk, but anyone who has questions, did we register? Do we need to? Email Mrs. Brennan and myself, and we will help you. So Melissa?
Yeah, that's right. So I'll put my email again back into the chat, but just as a heads up, students who are not in full-time special education get to choose one elective as 6th graders. So either band, orchestra, or the rotation elective, which gives them an opportunity to go through different classes every 9 weeks. So computers are an AVID-based class, which is skill building, academic skills, character building, leadership skills, and world culture, which is an introduction to language. But send me an email with your students' choices. Send me an email with your student's name, and we can see they may have already picked their classes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Or do your kids have any questions that they've brought up? As you're thinking, you should have received an email from me Monday. I think that was yesterday, and a couple weeks ago about these Zoom meetings. If you did not receive that email, something happened. Either your email is not accurate or updated in HomeLink, or something's wrong. It's going to your spam, or I have it typed in wrong or something. So if you did not receive an email from, at least 2 emails from me with a newsletter, they're like newsletters, then please first check your HomeLink, make sure your email is updated, and then also feel free to just email me and say, hey, Ben, I didn't get any newsletters or emails from you, and I'll figure it out. But going forward through June and July and August, you should expect to get an email from me, you know, every week or every other week. You should expect that our website is updated weekly. You should expect that our Twitter and Instagram and Facebook pages are updated. So, you know, you'll get a ton of info as things progress this summer. Info about the first day of school and our registration process and how to get PE unis and all those, how to get textbooks and all those things. So if you're not getting that info, then please take that time to email me and we'll figure out why. At the very least, you can always go to our school website and I post all our newsletters on there, and I have links to all of our social media pages and so forth. Okay, other questions? Okay, we'll give another minute or two.
Hi, Ben.
Hi.
Not a question, just a comment. Thank you to everyone, the teachers and staff, counselors that are all here. We're really looking forward to coming to school this year, whenever that is. And I just want to thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you. I know it's an awesome staff. When I put it out to them a month or so ago, I was said, you know, it'll be summer, so no pressure, but they're all here and it's so cool to see. So, you know, as I talked about earlier, we've got a dozen or so teachers willing to work this summer, volunteer on these teams and get ready. So it's just such a cool community and staff who love working together and going above and beyond for your kids. So thanks for that. And I agree. Okay. We're going to wrap up. And I don't see any other questions. But again, please reach out if you need anything. Say hi to your kids for us. I'm sorry we haven't been able to meet them yet. Normally we would have seen them a couple times by now, but we look forward to that chance when we can. We'll be in touch about the opening, and we'll be in touch about everything as we get more info. So thank you all for being here, and have a great summer. Congrats on promoting. Say hi to your kids for us, and we'll be in touch soon. All right. Thank you.